Welcome to the Thursday evening class where we get started with a nice practice to help us wind down, let go of the day. But this today is going to be a winter practice. A winter practice is going to help settle and calm Vata. And you know, I actually just got off the phone with a client / friend, and she had company at her house for 2 solid weeks. And I'm not talking a couple people, like over 15 people. And the anxiousness coming out of her was incredible. So this is a practice tonight that is going to help settle that, integrate some of that overstimulation that happens during the holidays. And that is Vata. That is Vata out of balance that's showing up. And then integrate. Now, integration is going to help Pitta as well, because integration is what Pitta does, what the fire element does. It transforms. It breaks things down and makes things usable. It absorbs the information or whatever it is. And then we're able to let go. So we will be having a little bit longer Shavasana tonight, because that is one way of helping to manage overstimulation. Let's get started. All right. It's nice to know what elements we're working with when we do our practices. So Vata, remember, is ether and air, and Pitta is mostly fire, a little bit of water. So we're going to actually start out today opening up our feet, opening up wide-legged. And we're going to turn our toes in. So you're going pigeon-toed. All right. And then we're going to bring our hands to the waist or the hips, and then move the hips to a circle. Just a small circle. It's smaller because you have your toes turned in. And then we're going to move in the other direction. Good. And then we're going to take our hands to the waist, drop to one, and then lift to the other side. And lift and go side to side. It's side to side. We're taking our hands, still toes turned in. Hands are right here. You're actually bringing the thumbs right here where the bone is, and you go right into the soft tissue and hook your hands around, and then push your hips forward, look up, and then drop forward, down. And then push your hips forward, and then drop. And push forward, and drop. Now, see if you can keep opening up as you push forward, look up, and drop a little bit more forward each time. 4 more, lift up, and down, and lift, and down. 2 more, lift each time, going deeper. Each time going deeper. 1 more. And lift. And down. So we're going to hold it down. Toes are turned in, and release your hands to the ground. Straighten out your arms. Good. And then we're going to place the right hand into the center between the 2 feet. And then open up and stack the shoulders. Now, as you do that, if you notice that the hip kind of tilts to that side, you want to balance out the hip. So make sure that the hips are level, and then release and switch and open up. And release. And right hands down again and open to the side. And down and open. And down. And one more time, open. And down. And open. And down. Good. So now your right hand, I want you to notice it's on the ground right in the center. And then you're going to look over at that left foot. And I want you to put your hand in between those 2 points. So now you move that right hand closer to the left leg. Watch the hip. And then we open up and stack. Breathe. And then releasing out of that and placing the left hand in the center, noticing where that hand is compared to the right foot and bringing the hand right in the center. And again, we stack. Now, at any time you need to use a block, you grab your block. Always props, you should use them if you need them. And then make sure you even out those hips and then open. Breathe. So we hold the poses a little bit longer. It helps us build strength and settle all of those active, overwhelming energies. Too much movement. So when you have too much movement going on, causing anxiety, causing scatteredness, you want to help counter that by having a nice, strong, stable practice where you're holding the poses a little longer, softening the breath. Good, and then we release out of it. And now you're going to see if you can bring that right hand all the way to the foot, the left foot. And again, you can use a block. And then we open up. Now watch your hips. Open and hold. And then we release and go to the other side. So left hand now going to the right foot, using a block if you need to. And open. Watch the hips, keep them level. Good. And then releasing out of that. And now we're going to be rotating. Well, actually, we're going to turn your heels in. Turn your heels in. So now your toes rotate to the outside. Drop your heels in, and then you're going to sit like you're going into a squat. Bring your hands up. Sit deeper. A little bit of pulsation here. Pulsate. And then holding it. And then inhale up with your arms. Up, up, up. And then exhale down, bringing your hands up. Pause. Strong, steady. Soften the face. Relax the shoulders. Lift the chest, shoulder blades down the back. And then opening up your arms, we're going to turn to the right and go into warrior two. Steady, looking down that middle right finger. And then straightening the leg. Now, as you straighten the leg, I want you to adjust the back leg, pull it in so that the front heel lines up with the arch of the back foot. And then go into Trikonasana. You can use your hand just below the knee and then lean back. Stack the left shoulder on top of the right. Make sure the torso is lined up with that leg. If you're able to go deeper, you can place a block on that baby toe side of the foot, or hand goes on the ground. Lean back. Straight legs. And then slowly, slowly coming up. Turning your toes in again, pigeon-toed. Drop down. 2 fingers are gonna go right between the big toe and the second toe, come around the big toe and connect to the thumb. Drop down, bend those elbows, drop down. You can go wider with your feet, no problem. Keep pulling the torso towards the legs. Good, and then from there, turning your heels in again, rotating your feet out, so turning your heels out. Bring your hands back up to the thighs, lift your torso. And again, we pulsate down and up, pulsate down and up. Hold it down. Extend the arms, bring them up. And then back in, connecting your thumbs to your heart. Pause, holding yourself strong, steady. That is what Vata needs. It needs strength. Vata's fragile. Vata's frail. So we need to help ourselves build strength. We also need to have that stability. So we do whatever we can to be in the pose in a stable way. And then we hold. We bring in that stillness. Extend those arms. And then turning to the left, warrior 2. Looking down that middle left finger. Relax the shoulders, draw the navel in. And then from there, you're going to reach up, straighten the front leg, adjust your back leg, pull it in a little bit, line up the front heel with the arch of the back foot. And then we lower into Trikonasana. You can take the hand right below the knee, extend the other arm out. Make sure that the torso is leaning back, lining up with that leg. And then slowly lower. See if you could take your hand to the block or the baby toe side of the foot on the floor. Straight legs, lift your kneecaps. And then slowly, slowly coming up, lift. And now we turn our heel out. So we go back into pigeon toe And then you're going to interlace your fingers, drop down, and hold. Nice. And I'm lifting those arms. And even out your breath. And you're holding that pose steady. Good. And then releasing the hands to the ground again, pulling your heels in and coming up, hands to the thighs. So this time we're going to lift our heels. Drop lower. We're not pulsating this time. You're lifting your heels and you're dropping low. Keep your heels lifted. And then inhale with your arms up. Keep your heels lifted. Exhale, bringing your hands. Now, if you need to drop your heels, it's fine. Thumbs connecting to the heart. Drop your heels now, and then go right into warrior two again. Drop low. Oh, man. And then take it into Parsvakonasana. Now, this is variation one. Variation two, you're going to use a block and bring the hand to the big toe side of the foot. Or variation three, you drop that hand to the ground. Reach, extend. It looks beautiful. Palm is down, thumb is reaching back behind you. So palm is down, thumb is reaching back behind you. Don't do this. Keep it down. You got it. That looks beautiful. Nice. Then that arm that's in the air is going to rotate around. And we turn and go into a high lunge, holding it nice and strong, steady. Then stepping back into plank, holding plank. Now you can modify to the knees if you need to. Sometimes the Vata really needs to take their time, build up, but eventually you want to get into that pose and hold it. That will help Vata. Then from there, lower, so you can drop to the knees, lower. Lift up Bhujanasana, Cobra, and take it back. Down dog. All right, so the leg that stepped back now steps forward. That's your right leg. Drop your back heel. And then we scoop up for warrior four. Reach. Straighten the leg. Drop into Trikonasana. Now adjust your back foot in a little bit if you need to. And modify with a block or coming up a little bit higher if you need to. Straight legs, lean back, line up the torso with that front leg. Then the arm that's in the air reaches up and pulls the torso up. Good. Reach, reach, reach. Good. Turning your toes in. We're going to drop back down into a forward fold. Bringing your hands into the center and seeing if you can bring your forearms down. And if you can't, use a block. Drop down. And then from there, lifting up, pulling your heels in, Hands to the thighs or the waist. Lift up. Turning your heels in. Good. Toes out. Drop down. Lift your heels again. Now, if you can't lift your heels, it's too much. That's okay. Just modify. Drop your heels then. Heels are lifted. Sorry, you got resting my mind. Then inhale up with your arms and bring your hands to the heart. Hold it strong. Soften everything except for the muscles that you need to hold this pose. Good, then drop your heels and we're gonna open up into warrior two, going to the left and dropping into Parsvakonasana. Remember, modified is gonna be on the thigh, or you can take the hand on a block or on the floor on the big toe side of the foot. That arm is palm down, thumb reaching back behind you. And then swing the arm around. Oh, we got to go into Trikonasana. So come up, adjust your back footed, and then we lower Trikonasana. And then we swing the arm around. Trikonasana, holding it. Remember to modify. You can go up just below the knee on the shin. You can use a block. But the block goes on the baby toe side of the foot. That's different from Parsvakonasana. Side angle, the block is on the big toe side. Then swinging that upper arm around, you're going into the high lunge and we're holding strong, steady. Then stepping back into plank. Now you're either holding it in plank, reaching back through your heels, or you can modify to your knees and hold. Strong. And then we lower. You can modify to the knees to lower. Lift up Bhujanasana. And take it back, down dog. And then that leg that stepped back is now the leg that steps forward. Drop your back heel and then scooping that left arm up. Reach, warrior four. And releasing from there, we're going to turning our toes in again. Inhale up, pigeon toe. Exhale, drop down. So now the palm of the hands go down on the ground, but you walk them back. They're going to line up with your feet. Drop the heel of the hand flat on the ground. And if you can't do that, you're going to use two blocks flat. And then you try to get your head down. So elbows are going to bend and then you press them in towards each other. So parallel arms. Try to get the top of the head on the ground. Now, if you can't get the top of the head on the ground, you do have your hands on the ground, you can use a block. Top of the head on the ground. Press your elbows in. Good. And then from there, we're going to lift up and you're going to walk your feet in. Walk your feet in. Bring them all the way in. And then we bend the knees and come down, and you're going to drop your knees to the ground. So I'll turn sideways so you can see. Drop down. Then flatten out your feet and go wide. Then we're going to take a block or two and sit. Okay. Now, if you have your bolster, you can use a bolster. If you are able to sit flat on the ground, then go ahead and do that. Okay, and let me grab my bolster. If you have a bolster, we're going to take it back behind us. Now, sometimes people have issues with a knee with this pose. And if you do, then you can pull one leg out. That's fine. You can pull a leg out and then just sit. All right. But if you can do it, if you have knee issues, the higher you go with blocks, the easier it's going to be on your knee. All right. And then you go back. Then you go back. That's too high. So you're going to go back and rest on that bolster. So this is pretty intense. And if you're noticing, oh, my knees just can't take that at all, then you could straighten out both legs and still go back on your bolster. The heels need to be on the outside of your hip. So you're not sitting on your heel, they're on the sides. Soften the body, relax, relax, relax. Let the body soften in this pose. Gentle opening for the chest. This is a great posture to naturally help open the chest. Let the shoulder blades drop back behind you. Open up here where the shoulders tend to round forward. This is a natural way of opening that up. So Vata people, here's the thing. Oftentimes, Vata people will hold themselves in a posture where they're hunching forward. That typically happens with a lot, all of us as we get older, but you move into the Vata stage of life as you get older. So that makes sense. Okay, now you're going to bring your feet out from under you, extending your legs. Feet come together in Baddha Konasana. And we're going to support the knees if you need to, bringing your heels all the way into the groin and then dropping forward. I do want you to reach forward and drop so you can use your block to support your head. Now, if you're super rounded here, then lift the chest, pull it up, sit up, or one of the ways to support yourself so you get more lift is to take a blanket underneath you and give yourself a lift through the pelvis And then you're able to hinge forward from the hip better. And then you drop. Okay, and then we lift up. Now we're going to take our 2 blocks and support the knees. Use your bolster behind you again. Now you don't ever bring the bolster right to the back. That's going to tweak your back. You have to have a couple inches here, at least an inch between the bolster and the back, and then lean back. And then interlace your fingers and place your hands under the head, at the back of the head. So you have a nice gentle opening for the groin and the shoulder girdle at the same time. You can give some support here to the knees if it's too much, but if you're able to, you can release those blocks and just hold and relax. Holding that pose. And if you want to release your arms now out from under the head, go ahead and release them and bring them to the side, palms up. And then extending your legs straight out. And relax. Good, and then from there, you're going to slowly roll to one side. Come off of your bolster. Okay. Open up your arms to the side, drop your legs to the right, look to the left. And you can bring that right hand up and hold the leg there. And then from there, the legs come up and go to the left. And you turn your head and look to the right. And again, your hand can come up and support that leg. Good, and then coming out of that, and we're now setting ourselves up for Shavasana. So bringing that bolster underneath your knees to support that low back. Making sure that you are warm, so covering yourself up with a blanket. You can put your jacket on, your socks on, and then definitely placing something like an eye mask, or you can use a towel, hand towel, or washcloth. Place it right over the eyes. And we want to do that because we're pacifying our senses. How we go out of balance is through our senses. How we can come back into balance is by pacifying the senses. In other words, we stop stimulating. The eyes are the most overstimulated sense we have. They work the hardest. And so we cover them. And that, by the way, the eyes are connected to the fire element. And then making sure that that body is supported on the floor, shoulder blades underneath you, hands and arms below the heart, palms up, receiving position. Relax, soften the body, soften your spine, soften your back, feel your pelvis release, that whole torso, relaxing, softening into the ground. Feel your legs let go, and again, soften. Feel your feet, relax. Letting go of your arms and your hands and your fingers. Feel them relaxing into the floor. Let the shoulders, the neck soften and release also downward into the ground. Relaxing your head, relaxing your face. Feel your skin, that largest organ of the body, the skin, relax. Imagine that you can breathe into the skin and the breath is effortless and soft and subtle. Imagine that you can soften all your muscles. All your muscles relax. And then imagine that you can soften all your bones. The strength, the stability of your structure, your skeletal structure. Imagine that you could even breathe into the bones. Give relaxation to your bones. Continue to soften, continue to relax, layer by layer. Notice the breath becoming even more quiet, even more subtle. Eventually, the breath will be so gentle, it's barely even noticeable. Imagine that you can relax and soften the body 10 or 15% more to deepen that relaxation. Drawing your awareness into stillness. Connecting with how that stillness nourishes you. Calming that vata. The earth gives nourishment, stability, perseverance, life, grounding. And the more you feel that grounding with your body connected to the floor, the more you connect with that stillness, the more integrated you will feel, the calmer you will feel, the more centered you will feel. You will begin to notice you have a sense of contentment and ease. Good. And then gently, slowly allow movement into your fingers and toes, and then roll to your right side. Pause there. Feel the earth and the stillness as you roll to that right side. Carrying that with you as you bring yourself up into a comfortable seated position. Pull your right heel in and then your left. Lift up out of the pelvis so the spine lifts and lengthens upward. Reach through the top of the head. Bring your hands together. Connect your thumbs to your heart. Close your eyes. And again, allow your awareness to move deeply into that stillness in the body. Just by being still, you are connecting with that stillness. You are settling, calming, grounding. And may you have a wonderful evening. Namaste. Good job. Nice, you guys.